Could this be the sign that you've been waiting for to start that creative business or career, or just hop back into painting or whatever it is that you love to do? I get it. It feels safer to have a plan and to know for certain that it's the right thing to do. After all, you don't want to waste money and you don't want to waste time. You want to know that you're doing the right thing. Maybe you're thinking, well, I don't have the perfect setup, or I don't have all the equipment I need. I'm not good at it yet. I just need one more tutorial or 100. I'm not 100% what my style is or what it is that I really want to do. I've got all these doubts, and so what do? We wait. Are you waiting for a really clear sign that it's time to begin this and that this is what you're meant to do? And if you're being honest, perhaps you might do this in other areas of your life as well. I know I do. I tend to do a lot of waiting until I know for sure. And it's the safe thing to do, or it feels like it is at the time. But when you break it down, what you're actually waiting for is permission from an outside source to tell you that it's the right thing to do and to go ahead. Because you don't trust your own intuition. You don't trust what your heart's telling you to do. And if you're waiting, then that's the frequency you're on, and you'll attract more things that cause you to wait, more excuses, more obstacles. They'll just keep coming up, and it can be so exhausting. I even end up a lot of the times having to take a nana nap so that I'm just so exhausted from trying to think it through with all the pros and cons and the decisions that we have to make, because we want to make the right decision. Of course we do. And really, the options that we're considering, there's really no right and wrong option. There's just different versions of us and different timelines. And eventually, our heart or the universe or whatever it is that you believe in will guide you back onto the right track anyway. Sometimes it just takes a while. We all know that we don't start out at something being really good at it. We have to practice, but that means we have to start. And that takes time and effort, and we have to put all that in. So you want to make sure that you're making the right choice. So how do you know? Well, you listen to yourself. You listen to what your heart wants. How do you do that? Well, it's a feeling. It's in here. It's that thing that keeps coming up for you, the thing you keep looking up, the thing you keep asking about, wondering about, pondering about, the thing that gives you a little bit spark of joy when you're thinking about it. That's your thing. And no, it's not clear, and you have doubts. You can't see this laid out path in front of you. You're not meant to. Maybe you ran it by a friend, and that friend or partner, whoever it was, just didn't get it. They didn't understand. They didn't. They weren't as excited as you wanted them to be, and they didn't clearly say this is what you have to do. And so you dismiss it because you don't trust yourself. You don't give these feelings or ideas credit because they're you, and we're searching for external validation. There's no guarantees and there's no proof that it's going to work out. But has there ever been? And so we think if it's meant to be, there'll be a sign, a clear sign. I'll wait for the sign. I'll wait till I'm ready. Maybe it's just not yet. And we look for role models. We look for someone who's done it exactly the way we want to do it. But there isn't anyone. Not, not exactly like us, because we're unique. We might find this person does this thing we like and that person does it that way, but we're searching for that one person that we can follow because they've done it and that means we can do it. This idea wants to manifest itself through you, and that's why it keeps coming up. But if you keep dismissing it, eventually this idea loses energy. And some believe that ideas have their own energy and they pass on to someone else. They pass along. And this is when we get a little disheartened because we see someone else eventually do our idea, but not the way we would do it. And you think you haven't decided, but your heart's decided. That's why you feel this disharmony when you don't do what it is that would bring you joy. Because your heart doesn't speak in words. It speaks in feelings. And a lot of us have shut down a lot of our feelings. It's the longing, it's the daydreaming, it's the little sparks of joy when you see someone else doing something similar or that you want to talk about. It's all those sorts of feelings. It's the lists you make when you're sort of thinking about what if I could do this? It even happens when you go to do a certain project. Like when I started painting, I start to think about what I should paint, but then I remember my heart actually loves these colours and my heart loves this type of painting and to do these kinds of strokes. And that's what it is that is me. And so that's what I have to offer the world. That's what I need to be doing. And our mind creates what we think of as signs in the external world to help us make sense of things. For me, it used to be a falling star. If I asked a question and then I saw a falling star, well, that was a sign that yes, I should go ahead. And I would think that for a while, but then I would doubt it as well. So for others, it may be that they see that 1111 on the clock, digital clock, or they see a dragonfly or a rainbow as a yes. And we all do this, even though part of us knows perhaps that's not quite right, we still do it. We search for these signs outside of ourselves to confirm what our heart secretly wants so that we feel like we're getting our mind and our heart on the same page. The signs have been there all along, but you've doubted them because they were feelings. And while the universe mirrors back to us what we feel in our hearts that we want, so you'll start seeing bits and pieces of what you want coming to you and the things that you attribute as signs, it also mirrors back the feelings and the fears and obstacles that we put in place. And this is why we have a part of us feeling and thinking this, while another part is feeling and seeing that. We'll see all the obstacles and fears, but we also see what we want. And no wonder we're left in the middle with, I don't know what to do. But basically, we're just waiting for outside permission to reflect back to us what our heart already knows that we want. So why would we do this? Why would we, even if we know what we want, and we think, okay, well, yep, that's what I want, so why aren't I doing it? Could it be because then you have to take responsibility for your life? You have to actually step out of your comfort zone and start? That's scary stuff. Stepping into the unknown without a plan, without a clear path forward, because you're stepping into something brand new and you're taking on a new identity. A new part of yourself's growing and coming forth, and you don't know who that is yet. It's going to form as you take action. And if you decide, if you actually say, well, yep, this is it, you can't hide anymore. You no longer have an excuse not to begin. This is why being in the waiting zone or the waiting room can seem much safer, but it's not. It actually causes much more distress, and it's not us living our life or being who we really are. And we all want to be who we really are. And you don't have to have all the answers, and you don't have to see a clear path. You just have to follow those nudges of excitement, those ways forward, I think I'll just look that up on how to, I'll Google it and find out what to do. What's the next step? You also start by stepping into this new version of you. How would this person act? How would you act if you already had what your heart wants? What would that feel like? What would you be doing? How would you start your day? Think about those things and start acting that way, and you'll find that things will just snowball. And then you just have to trust. You have to trust that you'll find the way. After you take one action, that will then lead to another action. And when you get overwhelmed, it's just a matter of, well, I'll just pick one. I'll start there and I'll do that. And knowing that you will make mistakes, knowing that you're learning, knowing that you're evolving, and that it's all good. The way shows itself to you as you're taking the actions and not beforehand. It'd be too much for you, too overwhelming to see all the steps right at the beginning. It's the same when you start a painting. You might start thinking you know what you want to paint or what you should be painting, but if you try and imagine every step before you start, you'd never start. So particularly when the canvas is large. So I just start by putting colours on the canvas, colours that I think, oh yeah, okay, whatever, I'll put that on, got that there. And sometimes I end up painting the whole thing over with a different colour, and that's okay. I use cheaper paints as my background paint, so that this allows me permission to do that. And then I start, and ideas start to come and form as I'm going. Often I'll start to paint in my mind one thing and it'll turn into something else. But I've learnt to trust the process and just go with it. And As you can see in the background, I often start with one thing and then it ends up with being the things that are in my heart, which is blue, water, the feelings that I'm painting. I'm painting the feeling of this mermaid lying back in the water and just feeling beautiful. And the bird flying in a beautiful surrounding. And these are the things that bring me joy. So I know I'm on the right path. So what keeps nudging at you? What ideas? Maybe there's more than one, and that's okay because we can combine them. We'll find ways if we just start.